Silke, por favor. 5 minutos.
Agora preciso da computadora. Então, eu sei que a maioria aqui é brasileira, mas o ano passado falei em português sobre os bens comuns em Porto Alegre. Essa vez vou falar em inglês. Peço desculpas. Então, I have to switch my brain to English. My name is Silke Helfrich. I'm working with the Common Strategy Group. I did prepare something for you. I would have been very pleased to show it to you, but it was not possible. So you have to prepare your minds for thinking in a kind of table. A left column, which is the dominant paradigm, and the right column, which would be something I call a commons paradigm, but that's a different paradigm, obviously. So very shortly, what is the commons about? We have described it in various publications, so I won't enter into this, but just say one sentence. A famous historian from the US said, "There is no commons without commoning." In other words, it's not about the resources itself, water, forest, air, or seeds. It's about how we act. It's about us. There is no World Social Forum if we don't make it. And as Chico proposed last year, let us convert the World Social Forum into a commons. In the same vein, I think that, as Susan said, we cannot talk about specific solutions on specific problems if we don't switch totally our mindset to other core beliefs. So what I want to do now is, very shortly, try to confront the dominant core beliefs with the core beliefs of a paradigm which I call the commons. First of all, what does we currently focus on? In a market logic, we focus on what can I sell on the market? How can I produce a good? And the focus is exchange value, right? In another column, an alternative paradigm, the focus is on how can we reproduce our livelihoods? What do we need? And the focus is use value. I have to be very, so to say, confrontative, to explain only the main ideas to you. Obviously, there is a link in between, and you have to imagine everything as a continuum and not as a pure dichotomical thinking. Now, the core beliefs of the current dominant paradigm, they always tell us it's about scarcity. It's about resources and the allocation of scarce resources. So everybody starts to run behind the scarce resources, being them in the outer space or on the ground of our seas. And another core belief of the current paradigm is we are homo economicus. We are, so to say, trained to compete with the others. Let us switch to an alternative paradigm. That would be core belief. There is enough for all if we share. Second core belief, it's not about the resources. It's about the way we relate to each other regarding the resources. It's about the question if we are able to share, so to say. And we are not only, as neuroscience shows us as well, we are not only homo economicus. Human development would not have been possible without cooperation, without social relationships based on the idea of reciprocity. So we are also homo cooperans and homo reciprocans. Let me say a few words on who are the change agents in both paradigms and how do we organize our social relations. Now, within a market state idea, we have normally powerful interests which through lobbying try to impose their interests over other social groups. And this works in a kind of very hierarchical way of doing. So the laws both of production and of making politics are the dominant idea is command. Yeah, the boss or the governments decide what we produce and how we make politics and how we try to reduce, for instance, by emission trading. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. How we resolve our problems. In a commons-based, community-based paradigm, the negotiation process is more horizontal. It's based on the user's interests of the resources. It's the principal agent, change agent, is not the powerful on the markets or in politics, but the communities all over the world, those who really find solutions to their problems there on the ground, all over the world, to their specific problems and their networks. So where we can find solutions which sum up at a global level is within the communities on the edges. And that means also that we would shift from centralization and monopolization of power to decentralization of power and autonomy. Just let me say a few words on the idea of property. The current paradigm is based on exclusive property rights, which tend to appropriate things we would never have believed before, that it would be possible to be owner of a gene, for instance. But now the idea is exclusive property on the smallest scale of material life and all sorts of life form, which means you can do what you want with the thing you own, right? That's the idea of exclusive property. A commons paradigm is based on the idea of collective or co-possession. That means we focus on what we have to use in a long term collectively, and that triggers the idea of co-responsibility in maintaining such resources. The dominant strategy today is, I've already said it, based on the idea of the homo economicus, let us outcompete the other. Strip it away from the market, then you are the winner. We have to switch to that idea that our own development depends, our individual development depends on the development of the others. So, of course there will be competition in the world, as has always been the case. But a dominant strategy to doing something good for people and to resolve any problem is out-cooperate. So the winner is who is best in cooperation. This is a logic of emancipation and inclusion instead of a logic of participation and exclusion. And perhaps the last sentence, I think, just a second. I think that it's very important to stop thinking that there is something like individual interest versus collective interest. Actually, as I already tried to say, my personal development is a condition for the development of others and vice versa. The development of others is also the condition for my personal development. And that means we would switch from a logic of wealth, in a sense of accumulation of goods and economic wealth, to that very idea of buen vivir, or you name it in other languages. As I said already, we call it commons. Thank you.
Obrigado, Circo. Boaventura, agora